I hear one person telling me how they're doing. How's everybody doing? Oh, that didn't go any better. I don't know. You need a caffeine addiction or something. Somebody needs some coffee in here. Well, anyways, I hope the last speaker was well. Everyone enjoyed it. Um, I'm here to introduce our next speaker here from DirecTV, Tita Lampe, the director of cyber IT software. Sorry about that. She's going to give us a great talk about securing the enterprise in the age of AI. So, without further ado, please warm applause for Tina.
Thank you. You can actually.
Oh yeah, that's one's mine. Yeah. No, she wants it on. Yeah, turn it on for her. One sec. It was. Unless John turned it off. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay, good.
Past technical difficulties.
All right. I need to talk with my hands, so I have to keep them free. Thank you for joining me in talking about the securing the enterprise in the age of AI, which is a very interesting conundrum. So today we're going to talk about the conundrum, which if you're not familiar with that word, it means puzzle. Number two, managing enterprise AI risks, trustworthy AI. Number three, enhancing cyber defenses using AI. Number four, enhancing the security team impact with AI. And then we're going to look to the future, challenging issues in which AI may provide some relief. And finally, we're going to talk about actionable takeaways. This is meant to be interactive, so if there are questions during the talk, please raise your hand. So our goals for today are for each of us to learn something new, and also for each of us to uncover at least one helpful tidbit in which to take action. So let's start out by talking about the conundrum. How does your enterprise approach AI usage? Do you leave it wide open, or is it very restrictive? Some enterprises just bury their heads and hope for the best, leaving their AI usage wide open, and others block the usage entirely. Where most industries and companies need to move in the future is in that middle, where there's active governance of AI usage. So what is meant when we say AI? Traditional AI has been around for many years. Gen AI has become more mainstream within the last 12 months and has introduced confusion in some instances as to the meaning of AI. So when we look at the difference, traditional AI is trained to make effective decisions based on a specific set of rules. Traditional AI recognizes existing patterns. It powers predictive analytics through data analysis. And in general, traditional AI does not create new rules, new content, etc. When we look at Gen AI, it is a subset of traditional AI. Through Gen AI, you can create new images, new music, text, code, patterns. You train Gen AI with a set of data for learning new patterns and generating new data. There's also the ability to interact with Gen AI using everyday language. Some interesting AI statistics that I found. A large global life sciences company performed an internal study on the use of Gen AI and realized a minimum of 30 minutes per day savings for the most casual user, up to a significant 85% time savings for deep knowledge workers. So there are significant efficiency gains with using AI. From authorityhacker.com, some other interesting statistics that I found. 35% of businesses have already adopted AI. 77% of devices in use feature some form of AI. 9 out of 10 organizations support AI for a competitive advantage. AI will contribute $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. 80% of retail executives plan to adopt AI automation by 2025, which is just a few months from now. And finally, 72% of executives think AI will become the most significant business advantage in the future. So with all of these positive statistics, you may be asking yourself, what's the conundrum? Well, AI introduces both threats and opportunities. We've talked about a lot of the opportunities of efficiency gains. You can also personalize customer experiences, and it drives innovation. From a threat perspective, especially if the AI is not managed appropriately, the organization can have intellectual property data loss, reputation damage, and AI-enabled attacks. One of the most significant risks companies can face, though, in the face of industry shifts, is the risk of being left behind. So I think we all want our companies not to be left behind. So what lessons can we learn from the past in this area? And I bet you didn't think that you were going to get a history lesson today. In the first industrial revolution, which happened in the late 1700s, the main result was movement from hand production methods to machines. The disruptors included mechanization, weaving looms, and the cotton gin, and the new industry of textile was born. In the second industrial revolution, which occurred in the late 1800s, the main result was mass production. The disruptors included assembly lines, electrical energy, the telegraph, and the railroad. New industries were born, such as the automotive industry and large-scale iron and steel production. The third industrial revolution, which is known as the digital age, the information age, and also there's several other names, occurred in the late 1900s. Many of us were here during that industrial revolution and may have even participated in it. The main result of the third industrial revolution is that the economy is now centered on information technology. And cybersecurity as a discipline really came out of this industrial revolution. The disruptors included computers, the internet, electronics, and automation. There were companies left behind by this industrial revolution. Blockbuster, for instance, where we went to rent movies and rent games, drug their feet in moving to the digital age and eventually went bankrupt. Kodak is another example. Kodak led the industry with cameras and films for over 100 years. They were very slow to try to move to digital photography. They also went bankrupt. There were other companies that successfully managed or were invented through industry shift. These include Amazon, who went from an online bookstore to the massive company that we know today, and Netflix, who went from a mail-order DVD subscription service to the streaming service that we know today. So now we are in the fourth industrial revolution. At the end of this time will be the joining of technologies that blur the lines between the physical, the digital, and the biological worlds. The disruptors include artificial intelligence, gene editing, advanced robotics, and the Internet of Things. The companies that will be left behind and the companies that will strategically manage through the shift and or be invented or born out of the industry shift are yet to be determined. If we step back and look at the AI conundrum from the cybersecurity landscape, as we all know, there are attackers and defenders. AI lowers the bar for attackers. Lowers the bar for them to be able to stage a sophisticated cyber attack. The director of the NSA has stated that they are already seeing situations where people who would not have been able to stage attacks prior to using AI now are actively doing that. Also, from the attacker's perspective, fabricated versus human-generated media is becoming harder to distinguish. I've experienced this personally. And the other concept to consider is that attackers will continue to use and take advantage of AI regardless of your company's internal policies. From a defender's standpoint, AI provides an opportunity to enhance our defenses against AI-assisted attacks. Using AI, we have the increased ability to focus on true alerts instead of false positive. And most experts are optimistic that AI will be a game changer for the defenders. So let's move to managing enterprise AI risks with trustworthy AI. How many of you have heard of or have experience with responsible or trustworthy AI? So a few. You may be asking yourself, why do I need to focus on trustworthy AI? Trustworthy AI systems and their responsible use can mitigate negative risks that contribute to benefits for people, organization, and ecosystems. From an individual standpoint, if the AI system is not managed correctly, it can cause harm to people's rights, physical or psychological safety, or economic opportunity. From a group standpoint, an AI system that is not managed appropriately can cause discrimination. And from a society standpoint, if the AI system is not managed appropriately, it can cause harm to the demographic participation or education access. From an organization standpoint, an AI system that is not managed appropriately can cause harm to an organization's business operations, can allow security breaches or monetary loss, and as we've spoke before, can cause harm to an operations or an organization's reputation. And from an ecosystem standpoint, all of those interdependent elements, such as supply chain and financial systems, if the AI system is not managed appropriately, it can cause harm to those systems as well. So, in speaking about trustworthy AI, NIST has a framework. It's AI 100-1. And through this framework, which I have pictured here, it focuses on making the AI safe, secure and resilient, explainable and interpretable, privacy enhanced, fair with harmful biases managed, accountable and transparent, and valid and reliable. If we notice, secure and resilient is integral to trustworthy AI. This ties directly into the NIST cybersecurity framework and risk management framework. Cybersecurity is a critical component of trustworthy AI, as well as a critical component of industrial advancement. How many of you have some form of AI governance in place? So more? So for those of you who don't, you may be saying, okay, now you've convinced me. I want to put AI governance in place. Where do I start? Due to the variations in regulatory environments, it's important to gather information regarding which countries will be impacted by the AI usage in your company. As we've spoken, both NIST and ISO have AI governance frameworks, which provides a good starting point. Organizations can also choose to build their own frameworks. Most consulting vendors can be hired to implement AI governance in your organization if needed. ISO introduced the ISO 42001 in December 2023 to manage risks and opportunities with AI, basically balancing the innovation with governance. Since the AI regulatory environment around the world is changing rapidly, it is important to review AI governance guidelines frequently for any needed updates. I've also included here the ISO stated benefits of implementing ISO 42001, which include ensuring the ethical and responsible use of AI, enhances trust in AI applications, supports compliance with legal and regulatory standards, manages AI-specific risks efficiently and effectively, and finally, encourages the innovation within a structured framework, hopefully allowing us to help our companies not be left behind. So next, let's talk about enhancing cyber defenses using AI. Have any of you already added AI tools or products with AI to aid in your cyber defense that you know of? So a few. So in AI, one of the goals of an AI enhanced defense is an efficient AI enhanced SOC. AI is very good at allowing us to find the needle in the haystack by processing and interpreting large amounts of data. This allows us to uncover hidden priority threats. It supports our behavior analytics. It supports our zero trust architecture. It supports our AI-powered threat intelligence platforms, which can aggregate and analyze data from various sources. Using AI, you can also help predict future attacks, auto-adapt defense tactics to evolving threats, and automatically respond to mitigate risks. So when looking at all of these benefits, I really wanted to understand if there were any case studies out there that proved some of this. So I looked at two of them. The first case study was IBM using Watson for cybersecurity versus the security team not using AI. And they found that AI analyzes and interprets data 50 times faster than the human. AI reduced the number of false positive alerts by 30%, and they found that AI is much more scalable than humans, which you may realize. The second case study that I looked at was Microsoft Intelligent Security Graph versus the security team not using AI. and they found that AI improved average threat detection and response from 24 hours to less than 1 hour. AI increased malware and phishing threat detection of attacks by 40%. And finally, AI proactive defense mechanism decreased successful cyber attacks on the infrastructure by 60%. So these are like huge statistics. If we move to enhancing the security team impact with AI, I would like to know how many of you or your security teams started using Gen AI to support their security operations. So there's a few. So there's many benefits that can help the security team when using AI or Gen AI. I picked 3 of them to talk about. The first one that I found very interesting is using Gen AI to generate the specific tool commands. This allows us to train our security team on the security use cases in a more tool agnostic manner. And this therefore allows learning curve reduction. The second thing that I looked at, the fact that AI can increase the velocity of vast data processing and insights. It allows our security teams to analyze relevant information more quickly and come to quicker informed decisions. And finally, AI can automate some of the tedious manual work that our security teams perform. This allows them to focus on strategic tasks and address strategic tasks more quickly. Microsoft research has shown that when using Copilot for security, analysts were 26% faster across all tasks. Again, a huge statistic. Do any of you have a cybersecurity and or an AI champions program within your company? So by introducing, building and or enhancing an enterprise cybersecurity or an AI champions program, you can provide the ability to enforce and enhance the enterprise governance in a more wide net. You can recruit diverse candidates from each department who can champion cybersecurity and responsible AI usage, and who can be a spokesperson for challenges faced by their area of the enterprise. And hopefully this reduces some of the friction in the company between the security team and the other teams. So let's talk about the future. And does anybody want to share some of your biggest current cybersecurity challenges in which AI may provide some relief? Anybody? Over here.
Testing. Whoa. Good afternoon. Great talk. Thank you. Really appreciate it. 2 of the biggest challenges that constantly face, especially the larger the organization, the more disparate the offices across the world, is around what we face is identity access management and how to even just get visibility into that landscape, because you can't fix what you can't see and measure, And then add to that data governance. Why do we do what we do to protect the data? With large organizations that use SaaS applications, there's a defined structure there. But what about the little office at the port located in Malaysia, and they got a payroll spreadsheet, or they've got shipping logs, hopefully sitting in Excel and not on paper? So it would be really great for AI to take some of the table stakes of what are the basic steps to identity access management and hoover in those systems, same with data, so that the theoretical 20 or 30% that's all manual, at least we've got top level visibility, more horizontal, and then where can we go down and dig deep some rabbit holes? I hope that makes sense.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for the question. On the identity and access management, I did read that there are some companies that put a layer above their identity and access management systems to get all of the behavior analytics. And some companies, and you can probably search for it on the internet, but some companies have found a lot of success. So I look for that to kind of take off as well. So from my perspective, some of the challenging issues in which AI may provide some relief, number one, cyber resilience and agility. So your cyber today may be very resilient and agile. Our attackers are using AI. To remain resilient and agile, our defenders are going to have to start using AI at some point in the somewhat near future. Also, AI, as we've talked, can free the security team up to work on strategic tasks. It allows you to scale cyber defense activities when needed. There's been discussion of having continuous compliance assessments instead of doing checklists periodically, which I think we would all appreciate not having to fill those out. The refinement of cyber defenses near real time, we've talked about that. And finally, targeted organizational rankings and remediations based on the business impact. Having that become more agile and being able to adjust as the business impacts change. So some actionable takeaways. Number one, support active governance of AI in your organization through the NIST and ISO standards in which we spoke, and/or creating your own policies. This will allow AI innovation while managing AI risks in a responsible manner, and hopefully will keep your company from being left behind. Number two, if your organization's governance permits, empower your security team to become more tool agnostic through the use of Gen AI. Number three, build responsible AI and security advocates within the enterprise to expand the governance impact. And finally, feel a sense of pride around being a cybersecurity practitioner, because your importance in support of riding the wave of AI, business and industry transformation cannot be overstated. So are there any questions? I actually have a slide of questions if folks don't have questions in the audience. Oh, over here.
I was gonna see if you could give an example of how a security team could use AI to automate a manual task. I think.
So, this is a test, right? So looking up, and it kind of has to do with Gen AI as well, like being technical and having to use many different tools, uh, a good use case is being able to search, to use Gen AI or AI to, when you need to do something on a certain tool, to be able to type that in and have it return the actual command or something similar to the command. I have a very long technology background. I know a lot of different, Unix, Linux, all of those different things. I couldn't tell you how to do basic things at this point because I've been so far removed from it. So that would be very helpful for me personally, especially for legacy environments that are not used very often. Just helping, instead of having to search through manuals and books, helping to find that in a very quick manner or point you to the right location, so that you don't have to search through all of the documentation. I can't tell you how many times, even like with Oracle, I just wanted to do something simple and I, searched through manuals for 15 minutes to try to find the command that I was trying to do. So I don't know if that helps.
If I could add on to what you're talking about, think of a process you use today. Let's say you get an indicator that something abnormal has happened. So you want to start digging through logs and you want to go, first you look at the firewall and say, what's the IP address and where did that IP address go to? What other systems did it get into? And then from there, what did it do, right? And this is stuff you do today, but it takes time. Imagine if you had a data lake, and on top of that data lake that had all of your logs, you had a Gen AI that you could say, hey, have we seen this IP address anywhere in our organization and what has it done? You can answer that question today, but it takes you hours. Now it will answer that in minutes, or if not seconds. So it's not doing anything that we don't do today. What it does is it allows you to do things that are repetitive tasks that take a long time, and it speeds it up. And then if you think about this data lake, you can now mine information out of it that you would spend days trying to deal with by scrolling screens. That's really the power of Gen AI when you're looking at a security operations.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else? So my list of questions are meant to help us think. Do we think that it is valid for some organizations to block AI usage altogether? So I would submit that maybe today, right, as they're getting their governance and all the management in place. But for most organizations, I would think that you would want to actively be putting those policies in place so that you can, not let your company get left behind. In the same question for allowing wide open AI usage with no governance. Any organization can do that, but that's a very high risk activity. Have you thought about how AI will change your specific industry? So as AI is introduced, by our business partners, as cybersecurity professionals, we need to stay in step with them because most, if not all, AI introductions have that cybersecurity component, and we need to help, mitigate risks caused in that area. So there will be companies and industries that get left behind in this fourth industrial revolution. Who knows how long it will take, right? But we're already seeing major shifts, and the efficiencies The efficiency gains by AI, some of the statistics that I've shown, they're too attractive to, turn their back on from a business standpoint. So I think it's something that we are just going to have to help manage the risk in those areas. And hopefully we will see, and I'm sure we will, companies being introduced in this new world with the new capabilities. So to wrap up, did we meet our goal? Did you all learn something new today? And did you uncover at least one helpful tidbit in which to take action? Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I truly